Is giving your ex an ultimatum a good idea or not? Chances are it's probably not. And we're going to be talking about why that's the case and what you could probably be doing instead to have a similar yet much better effect. First of all, though, hello, this is Clay with modernlove.life, where I am once again coming at you live. We tried to live stream this video earlier, but there were some technical issues. So here we are again. The internet seems to be back up. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into this. All right. So many times people feel as if they need to put some sort of ultimatum out to their ex, like, hey, we're either going to get back together or we're going to be nothing at all. Something along those lines, because they're unable to settle for this sort of middle ground where their ex is maybe still trying to figure things out. And in a lot of ways, I can understand where that might be coming from. I can understand that mentality. You know, you want some sort of definitiveness between the two of you. You want to understand where they are, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, etc. And you may not be able to, get that right away. And so it can also feel empowering as well, too, to try to push that ultimatum out there and to say, hey, we're either going to get back together or we're going to be nothing at all. It can often feel as if, like, okay, I'm going to find out where they stand and then I can just wipe my hands of the situation and move on. And that's fine, once again, if you want to play the game of feeling empowered and all that sort of stuff. I'm not here to tell you not to play that game. That's absolutely okay if you want to feel as powerful as possible. But just please do not confuse power with having a great relationship. Please do not confuse power with having a strong connection or anything along those lines. Okay. So with that being said, what is it that we're supposed to do? What is actually going on here? Let's go ahead and talk about that. So one reason why your ex is probably unlikely to respond to an ultimatum is because they've already made some sort of decision about not being together. And so if you try to force them to make a decision about getting back together again or being nothing at all, they will probably do what a lot of people do when you force them into a decision point when they're not ready. And that is to choose to basically stay right where they are. And if the two of you are broken up right now, they'll probably choose to stay broken up, because most likely they are going to believe that it's somehow safer to persist in what they're doing right now than to take a chance and to change whatever's happening between the two of them, especially if you haven't done a lot of the work at building the emotional connection. The second reason why this is the case is because many times they kind of need to be in this gray area in between where the two of you are not very well defined with one another. And they need to be in this gray area where the two of you aren't really back together, but you're also not entirely broken up yet. They need to go through this so that they can feel their way through what's happening between the two of you. They may be trying to figure out how they feel about things. They may be a little bit confused themselves. And obviously, if they're not equipped to make an emotional choice about being back together with you or not, then they obviously need this sort of space to explore what's possible between the two of you and to explore what the quality of the connection between the two of you can result in before they make this ultimate choice here. By the way, if you like this video, please make sure that you gently tap the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Again, sorry for the technical issues earlier. Sorry that the original live stream for this got cut midway. Again, I don't know. The internet went out in my house for a brief period of time, so we're back again. And also, if you do want to learn how, if you do want to learn whether or not your relationship can be saved, please head on over to modernlove.life/quiz. I'll just drop this little banner right here on the bottom of the screen so you can see the URL. It's over at modernlove.life/quiz. There's also a link for it down below in the description. Just fill out a few short bits of information about your relationship and what's going on, and our little system will generate the likelihood that you'll be able to save your relationship or not, and also what the next steps for you might look like. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on with this. So they're probably going to need to have this period where they feel through their own confusion. Now, you see, many times after a breakup, people can be of two minds about whether or not they made the right choice, whether or not they want to stay broken up with you, etc. And so there's one side of them that obviously wants to stay broken up because there was a reason for the breakup. But there's also this other part of them that says, hey, is this the right choice? Did I make the right move? What if they change? What if I change? What if we really can work through our issues, etc.? And so many times they're kind of getting pulled in two directions. And what we want to do is not put them on the spot by giving some sort of ultimatum, because then they're likely, I said before, going to choose to just stay right where they are, which is to stay broken up. And then you're going to force them into some sort of situation where the two of you are nothing at all, given that false choice between either we're getting back together now or nothing at all. And so what actually is going to help them to make the decision to get back together with you is if you start to build the emotional connection where they can explore this gray area in between, where they can start to connect with you, where they can start to not have to think about whether or not the two of you are going to get back together or not, because that could be too much of a choice for them to make right now. And instead, they start to think, well, if we just enjoy our time together right now, can we connect? Can we have a good time? Can we enjoy this day that we have together, this moment, this interaction, this meal, this cup of coffee, this walk, this whatever? And if they're able to do that, then they start to feel good and they start to say, oh, wow, we did have a good connection. We did really enjoy that. Maybe we should do that again. And after they do it a few more times, they start to think, wow, we actually do get along pretty well. Maybe we should start to get back together. Maybe we should talk about that. Now they're more equipped to make that choice. And then at that point, they may very well choose on their own to get back together with you. And if so, great, excellent, wonderful. But if they don't, then it makes sense to leverage that emotional connection. Then it makes sense to leverage it by doing not an ultimatum, but by simply just informing them of what you want, which is to perhaps be in a committed relationship, for example, and acknowledging where they're at, which is, hey, I totally get that that's not what you want. That's not where you're at. You're not in a place where it makes sense to commit or do anything like that. And then from there, you can go ahead and say, so give them the consequence. So, I might open myself up to start dating other people. And if that's the case, then, I might meet someone and that person might want to be in a relationship with me. And because of that, I might not be able to see you very often anymore. Is that something you're okay to deal with? And that has a sort of similar effect of an ultimatum. But because we have the emotional connection in place, they now understand what's at risk for them. They now understand that, hey, we have this great emotional bond. We have this great emotional connection. And if I don't make a choice, I'm at risk of losing it. Okay. And then also you're empowering them. You're making this choice about them, not necessarily about you. When you deliver an ultimatum, you're saying, hey, I need it to be this way or I'm gone. And that gives them the ability to point to you and say, well, gosh, you're just so hard-headed. You're just so stubborn. I could never be with you. It's the reason. That's the reason why we're not together. But if you do it in the way that I just presented, they have to know in their heart that it's like, okay, you know what? You've been really patient with me. We've worked through this. And for whatever reason, I'm just unable or unwilling to make the choice here to get back together. I'm just unable to do that. And at that point, they either could choose to get back together with you right then and there, or they might have to kind of experience the consequence of their indecision by perhaps, going a few days or a week or something like that without really experiencing or with experiencing what it's like to not have you in their life. This is not like a pitch for this or anything, but, if you did want to, actually, I don't have it anymore, but if you did want to go to modernlove.life/commit, you can see, modernlove.life/confident, you can see a video of a woman who actually had to go through this and her story of having to let her ex persist in the choice that he made. And it took 4 days, but he actually changed his mind and got back together with her when she leveraged that emotional connection with him. But this all does circle around having a very strong emotional connection. So up next, I'd really love you to check out this video right here on how to connect emotionally with your ex. This is going to be incredibly crucial and incredibly fundamental if you want to be able to make this happen for you without having to risk causing your ex to lose interest in you because you did something like deliver an ultimatum, when really what they need is more emotional connection.